a dog or a cat like would have naturally drank blood. They wouldn't naturally have drunk goat's milk. Like their little paws wouldn't have been able to like pump it out that well, to be honest.
If they came across some, they would definitely drink it. But it wouldn't have been available to them. Together, an industry disruptor
and renowned veterinarian discuss and debate established norms and new ideas in the pet world.
This is Challenging Pet Health.
Good morning, Katie.
Hey, good morning, Clayton.
How the devil are you?
What did you say?
How the devil are you? How the devil are you?
With the UK flair, I am devilly amazing.
Oh, phenomenal.
Or heavenly. Here, let me say I'm heavenly amazing.
Oh, so
flip it around.
So this morning we're just going to cover just the process of blood and why it's important. We don't talk about blood. We don't talk about the use case of blood. We don't talk about why it's important. Mm-hmm. People are literally like leaving this like enormous resource just tipped down the drain.
Oh, I love this idea. Where do we want to start?
Should we start off? Because again, like I think one of the most common misconceptions is when you have like your slab of raw food, that it's got blood in it. And first of all, that's not blood in there. It's something called myoglobin. And again, I'm not a biologist, so I had to look some of this up because it's like, oh, what is myoglobin? I don't know. Just know it's not blood, to be honest. But myoglobin is basically it's got the heme in it, which is why it's red. But it's not the same as blood. And blood is just a very different product. So it's what it is effectively is it's like a muscle protein or a muscle juice or something like that. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's basically it's something which it's high in iron, but it doesn't have the broad mineral complex, and
it's not blood.
It's not blood. Yeah. So
it looks like the meat juice is coming out of the meat that either people are eating themselves or that they're feeding their pets with a raw food diet, and most of us would just inherently assume that's bloody juice coming out of the meat, and it's actually not.
Yep. Just so people can understand, like the processing of animals, when we slaughter animals, the reason there is no blood in meat is because we drain the animal of meat, of blood when it's processed. Again, if you think back to how you would see, let's say, an enormous chiller full of like cattle carcasses, for example.
Right, when they're like hanging in the meat locker in the cold, whatever,
cold
they're
storage.
Hanging there and they're not they're dry.
Yeah, they're dry.
So the blood's already been
So we call that
drained.
We call that exsanguination. So all meat is exsanguinated when it's slaughtered. So there is no blood in meat. And so when you're eating your steak and you see like the blood come out, that's not blood. It's myoglobin. Blood, obviously, just from our normal processing techniques, is just not something we see in normal food. So what has been happening, I think, for years is that obviously, I grew up in Ireland. And we love black pudding, which is like a blood thing.
Black pudding?
Have you never heard of black pudding?
No.
Really?
Yeah, that's a cool and creepy name. What is it?
So it's like a breakfast food.
Okay.
So we have it with like eggs and bacon.
And I
stuff.
take it it's not chia black pudding.
No, it's basically it's like pork blood mixed with like pearl barley and some other spices and that sort of stuff, and then we make it into like a sausage.
Fantastic.
And then we chop it up and then we fry it and we eat it with our breakfast. It's absolutely delicious. It is.
Okay.
I love it. It sounds worse than it is, but
yeah. I mean, it sounds very nutritious. Hey, bacon. Most people, unless you're vegan, love bacon.
I'll have to buy you some Clonakilty black pudding.
Pork, yeah. I will try anything. So it sounds very nutritious, but in pets, when people think of what their dog or cat should be eating, they just think of muscle meat.
But what we want to do is encourage people to actually use blood products. There's a high spectrum of minerals, which is not found in meat or in myoglobin.
Magnesium and selenium, zinc, these important trace minerals are largely absent, and so many pets are deficient in trace minerals. So it's something I love to promote and talk about, often as a really important supplementation into the diet, because in today's world, a lot of our soils are so depleted, so our whole food chain tends to be deficient in minerals.
But I think also because this is something like, and again, the problem is when we take, let's say, a zinc tablet, something which has been sort of extrapolated from other
It's
things.
not always bioavailable.
Exactly. So by
Bingo.
eating a whole food product, we can get these things in a bioavailable way. I think, and then there's also the amino acids, and so I think lysine is something which blood is extremely high in, which is a building block for actually processing other amino acids.
And helpful for repair and regenerative, capabilities of tissues, which, all the components in blood really are so nutritionally supportive to regeneration and repair, of tissues. And the other thing that's great about blood too is it actually not only has a great complement of minerals, but it has a lot of B vitamins in it too.
What exactly do B vitamins do? Because I've seen them. I get told I need to take them, but I actually don't understand what they do.
So B vitamins, I mean, there's many of them, and so we could have a whole conversation about that. We probably should someday, but they are very involved in cellular metabolism. So it literally helps the body to create and utilize energy.
So it's about optimizing sort of just general cellular mechanisms. Is that
really
right?
true. Yeah, that's a good way to sum it up.
Yeah, I think so.
Spot on.
I always like to pretend I know what I'm talking about. And look, that's the thing is that I think what we do in industry is we try and mimic something I'm going to say ancestral animal would be particularly driven by, and then we put it onto modern products. It's the same as us. It's we love to taste the fats as humans because we need it in our diet. So when we have that stimulation of fat, it kind of wakens something in us that, okay, this is something my body craves.
Yep.
So again,
For often an innate reason.
and we can put that on things which we wouldn't necessarily want to eat, and it then makes us want to eat that thing.
Yep.
So again, it's about enhancing and stimulating. So when we're making products, by using the core ingredients of something which we would naturally desire, and then enhancing it, it then stimulates us to eat a certain product which maybe we wouldn't. And again, this is where the problem with ultra processed food comes in, is that we're using products which, in their pure form, you wouldn't eat in a million years.
Yeah.
But then we're adding something like blood or blood plasma or a derivation of blood, like hydrosolate, blood hydrosolate into that environment. So then it encourages our pet to eat that product.
Yeah.
As we see, there's a lot of cats end up with bad hydration issues, and a lot of that is to do with especially dry food diets. Because again,
Indeed.
Yeah. So a cat will not naturally look to drink water because they are predators. And so part of their way of hydrating would be drinking the blood of whatever they've murdered.
I always love to explain to people that evolutionarily, cats felines eating prey, the prey's body is 70% water like our bodies. And so they're getting a lot of hydration from their indigenous diet, which is not what domestic cats obviously typically eat. So they often are dehydrated. And I've historically loved to recommend bone broth and raw goat milk. And one of the things I know about blood, and maybe you can, enhance in the conversation, is that it also has electrolytes in it. So there's more to hydrating than just drinking water, So the electrolytes and all the, nutrients and peptides and amino acids and things are very, very helpful as well.
Yeah. And again, so it's highly biologically appropriate, very, very easily absorbed, so bioavailable.
That's one of the things I love about it. Yep, easily absorbed. Like when anybody, ourselves or our pets, eat meat, there's a fair amount of digestive process that has to occur in the digestive system to break down all the connective tissues and muscle fibers and all of that, and glean the nutrients out of that, the amino acids, the building blocks of proteins. There's a lot of digestion that needs to occur for the body to use that, absorb it, utilize it. And when they're consuming something like blood, it is so it's already just ready to absorb. There's not breakdown process that needs to occur like eating muscle meat.
And so again, I think it's one of those things that blood has like I say, in industry is something we use as a palatant as well a lot. So a palatant being a flavor enhancer. So if you take a lot of, let's say, lower end pet food like kibbles especially, they'll spray it with things like blood plasma, and but in a hydrolyzed form, so we call
Okay.
it beef hydrosolate,
Yep.
or like blood plasma sprays, and we'll spray that onto the
Okay.
kibble.
I knew
Or-
they were sprayed with what they call animal digest and things like that, but that's different.
That's
I
different.
wasn't
That's different. This is
aware that they
strictly
use plasma.
Yeah, so again, there's a very big brand of cat treats, for example, which is basically a wheat cookie. To be honest, they're just basically just garbage, but they're sprayed with beef hydrosolate.
Okay, which is very palatable. So the cats like them and eat
palatable.
them, and then people keep buying them because my kitty loves it.
Yeah, my kitty loves it, even though it's literally like there's nothing in it, which is actually biologically appropriate, but the flavor stimulation is there. And again, if you think about it, like in their sort of natural form, the blood is like an essential part of their diet because they need it for their hydration. So what we're doing is we're mimicking that and then spraying it on something which isn't biologically appropriate. So yeah, thanks for that.
Right.
Big companies.
Yeah. tiny effort at something that's biologically appropriate.
Yeah, but yeah, so we use blood a lot as a palatant. So like it's very very palatable. It's a great way of getting like your pets to eat things that they wouldn't necessarily like the taste of in its pure form. And so look, there are products out there I think like Tonics, which comes from New Zealand, is one of them. Which is
I'm excited about this product.
Which is a venison blood product, but they spray freeze dry it. So again, it's not high heat treated, so it retains the nutrients. And like I say, it can be then made then shipped and then in the powder and then turned into a blood drink.
Yep.
Which is especially for dogs which are performance dogs in terms of what can they actually drink. There's not a huge amount of options. I mean, I know people often use things like goat milk, for example, but again, goat milk is quite calorific.
Calorific, is that a word?
Yeah,
Did you just
I think
create
so.
that?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Love that one.
well, yeah. Like if it isn't,
It's not a Claytonism word.
No,
it's a real word.
no. It's quite calorific and also it doesn't have the natural properties of something like blood because again, if you look at biological appropriateness, a dog or a cat would have naturally drank blood. They wouldn't naturally have drunk goat's milk. Like their little paws wouldn't have been able to pump it out that well. To be
If
honest,
they came across some, they would definitely drink it,
for
but
sure.
it wouldn't have been available to them.
Yeah.
Like obviously their prey having blood, fresh blood. Yeah,
exactly.
And you mentioned that this product is created in New Zealand, but it's such a sustainable concept and a wonderful supplement product for pets that, as you said, is freeze dried. You can just mix water into it and add it to the food like a gravy. And it is such a fantastic food topper that, provides all these things we've just been talking about that are so helpful.
But also just as a palatant, even if you drop the nutritional value, which is high, and the hydrational value, which is high, just as a palatant, if you've got a really fussy dog, it's just it's an amazing thing just to put on top of your dog's food. The dogs go crazy for it, and it's a completely natural concept. To be honest,
and hydrating, like we talked about.
Yeah.
But I understand that venison blood is unique compared to other mammals' blood because of a component in it called IGF-1, which is insulin-like growth factor 1, and this growth factor is metabolically so helpful in the body in helping tissues repair.
Yeah, the reason IGF-1 is so strongly present in deer compared to other animals is because of their antler growth and their antler dropping. So they drop their antlers and it grows back quickly. So we used to use antler powder and antler velvet.
Yeah.
For that exact reason, for dogs with arthritis, for dogs which had mobility issues.
Yep.
And again, it's the same thing like IGF-1, which is in both of those products.
And apparently antlers are one of the fastest growing tissues in the body. I mean, they can grow 1 or 2 centimeters a day. So they often have a lot of IGF-1 circulating in their bloodstream where other mammals, depending on their stage of life, would not. And the interesting sort of aspect to spin on that, too, is one of the reasons why I was so excited to see that there's a product on the market that supports this, concept, and offering blood to pets as a, nutritional part of their diet is that aligns so well with Chinese medicine food therapy, which I'm Chinese medicine trained. We used to talk about, or we do talk about, with food therapy supporting the body to be healthy with food is something called blood tonics. And the word blood tonic in Chinese medicine, we use that a lot, like you tonify something. Tonify means to strengthen it. And so it's really interesting that I talk about blood tonics all the time and never thought about actually drinking blood to strengthen, the blood or the body. And we now, know with all this research behind, the new concepts of this, that it is so strengthening and reparative and regenerative for the body, keeping the muscles strong and vitality up.
And it is also worth pointing out as well that when we talk about like feeding animals on different protein types, that like when we think of something like steak, for example, it has got a high myoglobin load. Mm-hmm. So again, you can get the iron from the myoglobin as you can from blood. But then when we look at, let's say, poultry, things like chicken, things like turkey, there is minimal myoglobin. No one ever says, let's do a nice medium rare chicken steak. So cause again, it's like...
Cook it thoroughly,
yeah.
too.
So if you are feeding your cat or dog on poultry-based foods... Mm-hmm. Actually
and a lot of people do just solely poultry.
Yeah.
They don't even go outside of that category. And I love variety, but obviously poultry is often pretty highly represented in feline diets.
Yeah, so
and
like
even dog diets too.
The iron content is going to naturally be very low in their diets,
mm-hmm.
like compared to, let's say, a red meat diet.
Foods like organ meats, oily fish, eggs, those things we try to bring into the pet diet as strengthening, their body and their tissues. And back in human traditional ancestral tribes, they literally right in the field after, making a kill and killing an animal, they would save portions of that, these prized possessions of organ meat as opposed to the muscle meat, to bring back to the village, and they would prioritize them for the groups of people that needed them most, like the sick, the elderly, and the pregnant, because they were known to be so strengthening. And we now, know with all this research behind, the new concepts of this, that it is so strengthening and reparative and regenerative for the body, keeping the muscles strong and vitality up.
Yeah, and it's funny because I think it's like the raw food thing has gone down. It's like we talk about raw food and ancestralism and this sort of stuff. I think it's we become quite tunnel visioned into this is really super ancestral, but actually, when we actually then break down what's going into the product, probably not as ancestral as we'd like. So
right,
and
right.
I think just adding blood is an enormous benefit to anyone's sort
Love
of bowl.
it. Yep.
And the problem is because we waste blood, and blood is like looked at as being icky. It's not being properly valorized.
Icky. Yeah, I would say icky. Like people think of drinking blood, like it's
like
yucky and satanic,
like
and
Dracula and
yeah, exactly.
And like it's like why would you drink blood?
Yeah, it's kind of been given a very negative,
But again, pets like would have 100% drunk blood.
Yep.
But again, it's about how do we then get something which is like now considered to be a waste and valorize it and say, look, actually, this is something we should be consuming. This is something which should have a value behind it.
Do you know why blood is actually drained from the animals when they are, slaughtered and processed for food? Why do they remove the blood?
On the one hand, obviously, it is an adjutant to like keeping the meat fresh. So meat can be kept fresh for longer when the blood's removed.
The less hydrated it is, it would preserve longer.
It preserves longer. But
that
also it's about product valorization as well. When you're processing an animal, so you have to take it apart to process it effectively. Every part of that process will cost money. And so blood, there's an extra layer of complexity because everything else is a solid, blood is a liquid. It has to be collected in a hygienic fashion.
Mm-hmm. An expensive step.
That's an expensive step when you're talking about mass production. And so if you don't actually have a valorization for that product, then you're better off wasting them, just from the economic perspective.
And in order to justify the cost of doing that, they have to have a market for it.
You have to have a market.
And nobody's ever really built a market for that.
Outside of, delicious black pudding, to be honest. And like,
Outside of that.
let's go off and get a nice black pudding. I tell you, do you know why? If there are some black pudding,
I got to try it now, Clayton.
it's a real big thing in the part of Ireland I grew up in. Clonakilty black pudding, people battering them, covering it in cheese, all kinds of stuff. But like, I just like it fried with my breakfast.
Fried with your breakfast, okay.
Yeah.
You make me breakfast soon.
Yeah.
All
Make
right.
it and get you
I'm
some
in.
Clonakilty black pudding. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm in.